Russia's tanks never saw it coming. At 6:40 a.m. on July 27, 2025, satellite imagery captured a massive Russian armored column. 50 T-90 tanks, 30 troop carriers, and 700 infantry surging from occupied Donetsk toward Ukraine's front line. This wasn't a probe, it was a $350 million bet to smash Ukrainian defenses before fall. Backed by 70 suicide drones armed with bunker-busting warheads, Russia's integrated assault combined armor, infantry, and loitering munitions in a strategy unseen since their 2022 invasion. The drones were programmed to detonate on contact or at the first sign of resistance, clearing paths for tanks with ruthless precision. Western analysts called it a chilling evolution of mechanized warfare. But Ukraine had other plans. General Mykola Shevchenko's 93rd Mechanized Brigade had spent weeks turning 3 square miles of farmland into a deadly trap. Over 4,200 anti-tank mines, hidden under soil and crops, formed a staggered maze designed to confuse and destroy. Narrow, safe lanes baited Russian drivers, only to trigger sensor-activated mines under pressure. Ukrainian UAVs fed real-time data to commanders, who timed electronic detonations for maximum devastation. Within 4 minutes of entering the kill zone, 17 Russian tanks were obliterated, turrets flung 50 feet into the air. The trap wasn't just explosive, it was psychological, exploiting Russia's overconfidence. The operation's genius lay in its restraint. Ukraine could have bombarded the column outright, but chose a calculated ambush to minimize civilian risk and maximize enemy losses. The minefield's design forced Russian vehicles into bottlenecks, where each explosion triggered chaos, disrupting their formation. This wasn't blind destruction, it was surgical. A near disaster highlighted the plan's precision. A Ukrainian resupply truck nearly triggered the minefield due to misread coordinates, stopped just 6 feet from disaster by a drone operator's warning. This close call underscored the high stakes and Ukraine's discipline under pressure. Why does this matter? The minefield didn't just destroy $100 million in Russian armor, it exposed flaws in Moscow's strategy. Russia's reliance on brute force and predictable advances was no match for Ukraine's ingenuity. NATO generals took note, studying the trap as a blueprint for countering mechanized assaults. The psychological blow was equally severe. Russian troops, expecting a swift victory, faced a field of fire that shattered their morale. This wasn't just a tactical win, it was a statement that Ukraine could outthink a superpower. What could amplify this victory? Ukraine's next move turned the tide from defense to offense, catching Russia's survivors in a storm of steel. Speed and precision flipped the battlefield. At 7:15 a.m., as Russia's surviving tanks reeled from the minefield, Ukraine's 12th Armored Assault Battalion launched a 3-pronged counterattack. 32 T-84 Oplet tanks, backed by 10 self-propelled artillery units and mobile anti-aircraft platforms, surged from concealed positions. Moving at 45 miles per hour, they hit Russia's disoriented forces with devastating coordination. In 90 seconds, 9 more Russian tanks were destroyed in direct hits, their crews overwhelmed. The ground shook as Ukraine's armor, fueled by months of attrition, unleashed hell. Above, Russia's remaining suicide drones, 47 of 70, dived desperately to stop the Ukrainian advance. But Ukraine was ready. Shkval 6 rotary cannons, firing 4,000 rounds per minute, turned the sky into a kill zone. Drones exploded mid-air, some just 30 feet above tanks, in a deafening cacophony of gunfire and debris. Ukrainian electronic warfare, EW systems, jammed the rest, flooding GPS signals to send drones crashing into empty fields. From a ridge 600 meters east, Ukrainian howitzers pounded Russian supply lines, destroying vehicles and wounding medics. Tank commander Vovik later said, "They walked into hell. We just lit the fuse." This counterattack's brilliance was its integration. Real-time drone intel guided tanks, while EW and anti-aircraft systems neutralized Russia's aerial threat. The howitzers' precision strikes, targeting retreat routes, ensured no escape. By 7:31 a.m., Russia's Spearhead was hunted prey, with 42 vehicles destroyed and over 200 soldiers killed or captured. The speed was staggering. In 16 minutes, Ukraine turned a Russian offensive into a rout. This wasn't luck. It was the result of months of planning, leveraging terrain and intelligence to exploit Russia's chaos. Globally, this moment redefined Ukraine's military reputation. Western analysts, expecting a prolonged defense, were stunned by Ukraine's offensive audacity. The counterattack showcased NATO-supplied training and equipment, like the T-84 tanks, blending seamlessly with Ukraine's homegrown tactics. It also exposed Russia's logistical weaknesses. Supply trucks and medics were easy targets once the front line collapsed. The victory bolstered Ukraine's case for more Western aid, proving they could deliver results against a numerically superior foe. But the final blow was yet to come. Ukraine's next move didn't just crush Russia's hardware, it struck at the heart of their command. Ukraine's elite turned chaos into checkmate. At 7:35 a.m., as Russia's forces scrambled, 850 Ukrainian infantry from 7 elite fire teams emerged from trenches, farmhouses, and tree lines. Operation Frosthook, a codenamed ambush, unleashed sharpshooters, anti-armor specialists, and EW units on the disoriented Russians. RPG-29 launchers obliterated command trucks and personnel carriers. One hit ignited an ammo truck, sending a fireball 100 yards wide. Snipers with thermal scopes eliminated squad leaders, sowing panic. In 6 minutes, 110 Russian soldiers were killed or incapacitated. The trap tightened. Ukraine's 3rd Airborne Scouts, having flanked via underground tunnels 2 hours earlier, cut off retreat routes. Fleeing Russians ran into a wall of gunfire. Amid the wreckage, a half-collapsed command vehicle revealed a wounded man in officer's gear. A biometric scan identified him. Colonel Viktor Semyonovich, commander of Russia's 42nd Armored Regiment. His pristine boots and GPS wrist device betrayed his disguise as a conscript. Captured with encrypted drives, combat orders, and fallback plans, he was airlifted under guard. Ukrainian intelligence called it the war's most valuable capture since 2023. Frosthook's success was its precision. By striking when Russia was weakest, Ukraine dismantled their chain of command. The colonel's capture exposed Moscow's southern strategy, revealing dissent among officers and flawed planning. In 85 minutes, Ukraine destroyed 42 vehicles, killed or captured 230 soldiers, and humiliated a regiment. The $350 million loss was catastrophic, but losing Semyonovich was worse. His intel gave Ukraine a 72-hour window into Russia's next moves. Western intelligence reported Russian officers under investigation within hours, signaling internal chaos. This ambush reshaped the war's narrative. Ukraine's blend of 20th century grit, trenches and mines, with the 21st century tech, drones and EW, set a new standard for warfare. Military academies worldwide now study Frosthook as a model of asymmetric tactics. More profoundly, it showed Ukraine's moral edge. Medics treated Russian wounded, and a viral photo of a Ukrainian corporal aiding a terrified 19-year-old conscript captured global hearts. This wasn't just victory, it was a lesson in humanity amid war's brutality. If Ukraine's strategic brilliance and humanity inspire you, hit that like button and share your thoughts below. Subscribe to join our community and keep these stories alive.